LAN. स्लाइड विजिबल है?
yes sir, visual.
ओके, so wireless LAN में in this topic basically we will cover about IEEE 802.11 and Bluetooth IEEE 802.16. IEEE 802.11, this is the technical name of Wi-Fi that you are using nowadays. Wi-Fi is a commercial name, and IEEE prescribed, IEEE suggested that Project 802 name, and this is the technical name of this Wi-Fi. In this fastest growing world, the technology should also be growing like that, so that you can connect more and more device very comfortably, and you can move uh, throughout your area or in room, so that you can say the connectivity should be like that. It should be very handy device nowadays, na? Mobile, laptop, for that. So wireless network should be network architecture should be also like that, so that we can support network can support the device. So need of wire is very uh, expensive, and without wire we can connect multiple number of devices, but for the lower area or smaller geographical region, this is the one major constraint of wireless network. Your area should will be very less as compared to the wired network, but whatever the area, you can move uh, around here and there, so that very comfortably you can connect with the network. IEEE has defined the specification for wireless LAN, that is called IEEE 802.11, which covers the physical and data link layer. In this, the major topic that we will discuss, the architecture part, MAC layer, and some discussion about physical layers. See, architecture uh, is the service of this MAC, sorry, 802.11 is of two types. One is called basic service set, BSS, and other is extended services set, ESS. See the block diagram and you will better understand. This is the block diagram of ad hoc network, and this is of infrastructure network. BSS is simply basic building block of the stations. See, BSS is the basic simple building block of wireless LAN. In this, stations may be mobile in a particular region, and optionally there is another device, you can say that access point can be present. If BSS uh, with access point is present, if access point is present in any BSS, that type of network is called infrastructure network. And if BSS without access point in that type of network is called ad hoc network. You can see, understand this station and access point like your. This is not exactly same, but you can analogy. Uh, you can see this is a base station kind of thing, and mobile station, that is your handy device. See, this base station can work as a AP, and all mobile station, that will be your stations or nodes. A comparison you can draw in this network, and this is GSM or 4G network, that type of, but not exactly same, but you can understand like that. So this is two types of network will be for wireless LAN. One is ad hoc network and other is infrastructure network. Ad hoc network is BSS plus, sorry, BSS without access point. Someone is getting a noise in background. BSS without, and infrastructure network is BSS with access point. This is the two type of network in wireless LAN. Now, extended service set is the set of BSS and AP connected through the distributed system. There will be, in extended service set, there will be a BSS, there will be AP, and all AP will be connected through the distributed system, and this distributed system will be connected through the wired LAN to a gateway system of gateway network. This is beyond the scope. So you can simply understand this like this. See, this dotted line is BSS. Three dotted circle is BSS, and each of these stations are the nodes, and all BSS have one AP, and all these AP are connected through the distributed system, and this distributed system will be connected through wire medium to the gateway for further transmission of signals. ESS basically uses, there will be two types of station. One will be mobile station, other will be stationary station. Mobile stations, as the name suggests, you can understand the device or the stations which will be capable to move from here and there. And stationary stations, nodes, are the fixed node which will not move. The AP is called stationary, and please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Aditya Patel. And mobile stations are the normal station which can travel inside a BSS or outside of BSS. According to the mobility of this node, there will be a three types of stations according to this IEEE 802.11. One is called no transition, means exactly no movement. That type of nodes are called stationary, or this type of nodes can move inside a base station. Other uh, stations may be capable to move inside BSS or outside any BSS, but for inside one ESS. And ESS transition mobility stations, it is capable to move from one ESS to another ESS. In this type of movement, suppose one node is moving from one BSS to another BSS. In that case, the distributed system does not change. For the same distributed system, there will be a movement. So there will be the chance that connection may or may not last. But in this ESS, there is a statement that the a guaranteed communication, or you can say without the loss of communication, a node cannot travel from one or another ESS. There is no guarantee that there may be continuous type of communication or discontinuous type of communication when we move from one station, one ESS to another ESS. Like, see, this is one BSS, this is one BSS, this is one BSS. Overall, this type of scenario that you are seeing here is a diagram of ESS. In a single ESS, there will be a multiple number of BSS. So when you travel inside this BSS, that type of station is called stationary station. Or other type of station is capable to move from one BSS to another BSS. That type of station is called BSS transition station. And suppose this one station any can move through another ESS. That type of station is called ESS transition. There will be three types of movement. One is outside the ESS, one is inside the ESS, BSS, and one is one BSS to another type of BSS. So according to this mobility of the station, there will be three types of station. Now, as time passes, from 1997, you can see up to 1998, there is a list of IEEE standards: 802.11, 802.11a, 11b, G, and N. Accordingly, there will be some specification, maximum data rate, modulation scheme that is used, maximum frequency, or you can say the carrier frequency. This is basically carrier frequency. This type of development have done, and accordingly their name has been changed: A, B, G, and etc. Further, these are the standards that IEEE have prescribed for wireless or WLAN. Now, coming to the MAC layer of IEEE 802.11 standards. The MAC layer have similarity. Here also you can see the similarity between the OSI model. See, upper layer, this data link layer, is divided into two parts. One is LLC, other is MAC layer, and a physical layer have another separate part. See, this lowermost section is representing the physical layer, in which there are several types of modulation scheme or data generation scheme. You can say this is HF, SS, DSSS, infrared, OFDM, and so on. All these are the different modulation scheme and different name you can see 802.1111 with two different modulation scheme. Another is for the using infrastructure, infrared light. Other is a using DSSS, other one using OFDM, other one DSSS. Accordingly, there will are at physical layer there are several variant of LAN standards. But moving to the upper layer in MAC sublayer, you can compare this with wired LAN. There will be a single section, single layer, that is MAC layer only. But here MAC layer is divided into two sublayers. Lower sublayer is distributed coordination function or DCF, and above that point coordination function or PCF, and beyond that some other layer or LLC we will discuss later, or this is not the part of this discussion. But you can see in the MAC layer there is a two sub layer. Earlier it was for the wired LAN, MAC layer was of single sub layer. So you can see here PCF is up to here, and after that only DCF is present. Means there is a two type of services present after DCF, either contention free services and or contention based services. If you choose, or if any node station choose the transmission of data through contention free services, then they have to go through this PCF coordination function, point coordination function or PCF. If communication or the transmission of data is taking place contention based services, then no need of PCF. Directly the communication is possible through DCF layer. Now the media access or multiple access technique that discussed earlier, here it uses CSMA, not CSMA-CD. CSMA-CA technique is applied for the media access at DCF layer. In wireless system, you can imagine the channel or the communication medium is environment which is very noisy kind of channel. Degradation of signal due to fading is very high. So CSMA CD is not useful or not very helpful for wireless LAN. Instead, it is using CSMA CA method. Detection is quite difficult because wireless actually the signal or energy level of collision is very less. Earlier, if you recall the previous discussion, that energy level diagram of medium, the energy level is fixed, certain energy for the actual data, and if some collision happen, then there will be another energy level. It means the level of energy is height, suppose A, is another height, suppose B, means A plus B will receive the station that the energy level of this medium has changed. Total energy has increased. It means the sense they detect that collision occurs. This type of discussion I have discussed in the earlier classes. But suppose in this wireless scenario, the collision, the signal received after the collision is very less. So exactly it will not able to distinguish that whether the collision happened or not. The received signal is same as the transmitted signal. So this is one of the reason for wireless LAN does not use a CSMA CD technique. Another is it increases the bandwidth. Another technique reason is due to the hidden station and exposed station. It will discuss later. We will see what is hidden layer and another exposed layer, exposed station. But this is one of the reason. So measure this three reason due to which wireless LAN does not use CSMA CD. It uses CSMA CA. Now see how this communication takes place in wireless LAN. First of all, before sending the frame, in station want to send the frame, they must sense the medium. Source station sense the medium, either of the technique that we have discussed, 1 persistent, 2 persistent, 0 persistent or T persistent. Any of the persistent strategy can be chosen, so that station check the energy level of the frequency center, carrier frequency, and check the whether this carrier is being utilized or available to use. If it found that station or the carrier is free, then if station found that carrier is free, it means idle, no use, it is of no use, it is in rest. In that case, the station wait for some time. Before sending the data, station wait for some time, and that waiting time is called DIFS, distributed interference phase. First step is to sense the medium. If it is found in idle, then wait for some time, and that waiting time is called DIFS, and then send a control frame. Before sending the actual data, the station have to do this type of service. Control frame is called request to send. This request to send this type of frame, this type of data frame is transmitted for the receiver. If receiver receives this RTS, then again receiver wait for some time. Then that waiting time for the receiver after receiving this RTS, this is called short interframe switch. RTS is received by the receiver and receiver wait for some time. That waiting time is SIFS. And then after waiting, destination sends another control frame. Receiver or destination, you can say, this station sends another control frame, and then that control frame is called clear to send. This control frame indicates that the receiver is now ready to receive the data. See, this discussion can be easily understood by this diagram. Before that, See what is it? The station source station send the data after waiting an amount of time that is equal to SIFS. The destination station after waiting an amount equal SIFS send acknowledgement, and we will all discuss whatever we have discussed. The algorithm starts. Flowchart of the algorithm is like this. Starts, all the timer is set to 0 and the station sends the channel. Any of the persistent strategy can be applied. If it is found, if station found that channel is available, then it wait for DIFS amount of time, and then it send RTS, request to send. This is a kind of control signal control frame. This is transmitted. In this RTS, there is a time for which the station will utilize the channel. The time, how long the station is going to use the medium, that time is also in the RTS. It is also transmitted. According to that, the time whatever it is going to use the channel, according to that time, all another station which will not be in this communication, that will start their timer. That it means another station, those stations which are not going to take place not going to participate in the reception, that station will start their respective timers, and that is called NAV, network allocation vector. We will see later. See, it means senders send RTS for all the another station, in which one will be a receiver and rest of the node will be rest of the node should be, in ideal case, that they should not transmit anything. That's why a timer should be started by the station which will not receive anything, and that timer is NAV. Now control is clear to send data. If RTS is received by the station, receiver station, actual receiver station, before this timer start, then it will again wait for SIFS amount of time. This CTS is transmitted by the receiver for transmitter, actual the station which will transmit something. Before that timer, this timer goes off. If it is received by a correct time, at correct time before timer off, then no problem, it will again wait for SIFS time and then send the actual data frame, and again start a timer and wait for acknowledgement. If acknowledgement is received by before the timer goes off, then this is successful. Correctly received by the receiver and a successful communication takes place. If see at this time, if timer goes off before sending the CTS clear to send control frame, then it will be not send the data. Then again it will have to go from earlier here by this path. It will increase some backup time. If backup time is in the range of limit, then it will have to abort the process. If backup time is still running, then it will again wait for it will again sense the medium and again do the same thing. Here, NAV and CIFS, SIFS and DIFS can be easily understood in this diagram. See here, suppose this is a source station, this is destination station. First, source have to sense whether the medium is available or not. If it found that medium is available, then it will wait for distributed interference space. This time it will wait for some time, and then it will send the RTS request to send this control frame for destination, and destination receives this control frame and again wait for some time. This is vertical axis is time. This wait for some time, and in return it will send CTS, clear to send. Clear to send means the receiver is ready to receive. Again this, if source station receives this CTS frame and then wait for SIFS amount of time and send actual data. If all the data is received by this destination, then again it will wait for SIFS amount of time and it will send the acknowledgement of frame that data has been received. See here, during this transmission of RTS, there is some time limit, that how long the data is available. It means how many time, how long it will take to utilize the channel. That time for all other station have to start their NAV. All other station start their NAV for that amount of time. These two station is going to communicate and all other station will be in the rest position. This is no carrier sensing. This, for this time, no any other station will going to sense the carrier sensor channel. It means it is in the rest. This is NAV. Now coming to point coordination function. The PCF is optional. Earlier diagram you can see either it will directly transmitted through the PCF, DCF with the contention based services. If you are using, if in node transmit contention based services, in that case PCF will be required. So we can say this is an optional type of thing. This is for the infrastructure network, not in ad hoc network. It is implemented on the top of DCF and used mostly for time sensitive transmission. PCF has a centralized contention free pooling service method. PCF access point perform pooling for stations that are capable of being pooled. Basically, the strategy of this PCF is access point and any other nodes, stations. What should be the priority of this? If any access point want to communicate, transmit the data, and any other station want to transmit the data, then which will going to get the priority? That's why those type of problem will be simplified by this PCF. Actually, it gives the priority. The priority is given to access point over other station, because AP uses PCF and all other node can use either PCF or without PCF. So to interpret this type of problem, the priority of this PCF over DCF is solved by the two other type of in this interframe. that is transmitted between uh, sender and receiver, PIFS and SIFS. PIFS means PCF IFS. PCF interframe space. The interframe space used by the PCF. See, in general, if at the same time the station want to use only DCF, any station want to use only DCF, and access point want to use PCF, then who will get the priority? The access point will get the priority. Due to the priority of PCF over DCF, the station that uses only DCF may not get access the medium. Means the station which uses only DCF, that will always be in the rest position. So to avoid this type of problem, that any particular node, particular station that do not use the PCF all the time, that will be in the rest position. So it's better to do a repetition or the timing frame, so that all the nodes can transmit in repetition fashion, and all the stations get a chance to transmit the data. And the discussion of this repetition interval. Repetition of interval, see this AP want to pull this station, and all other stations that will be in the rest position. This the repetition interval from here to here, from here to here, can be divided into two parts. One is either contention free services or contention based services. If AP want to communicate, then it will be contention free services. If another station want to communicate without PCF, that will be this contention based services. Both will be in the repetition. This contention based services will have different time frame. First, it will use AP will transmit PIFS PCF interframe space, and it will help to know the other station that AP is going to send something, or AP access point is going to use the medium. So all this type of station will not sense the channel, so that they will start their NAV timer. After that, become frame and wait for some time. It hold frame, it again wait for some time this hold station, and the data is transmitted. Again data is received, it wait for some time, acknowledgement, and for error correction, for CF correction of frame for error purpose. This type of data is transmitted. So throughout this you can see contention free services and contention based services. Contention based services both will be in the repetition fashion. Now one another technique that uses in wireless LAN, that fragmentation of the frame, fragmentation of the data. So, because wireless communication is a very noisy or threading type of channel, so data may be corrupted or lost due to some reason. So you have to transmit all the data again. If the actual data frame is very large, then in that case, this will be very difficult to send again a lengthy or very long data. So it's better to reduce or fragment the data into smaller pieces and transmit those data. If in this case since all the data bits are data frames are very small. So if any data may be lost, you can very easily transmit it. So again descending the very lengthy data is very not so easy task. That's why it uses fragmentation of data frames. And the frame format of the wireless LAN at MAC layer consists of 9 fields. See in this diagram here, first field is FC, that is frame control, frame control. Other is D, other is address 1, 2, 3. Then next is SC, sequence control. After that fourth address, and again frame body, that is actual data, and FCS, that is for error correction purpose. Total 9 sections. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sections of this frame format of MAC layer. And first FC layer, see this FC layer is again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fields. This FC have 11 fields. This is last bit and this is first bit of FC. FC frame control basically carries all the information that is described here. It will have 2 byte of data. T will have again 2 byte data. Data 1, address 1, 2, 3, and all the address carries 6 byte. And sequence control carries 2 bytes. This 0 to 2, 3, 1, 2, this amount of byte. This is actual data, and last 4 byte for error correction. See, FC means total 2 byte. 2 byte means 2 byte means 16 bit. 16 bits data. 2 bit data is used for protocol version. 2 bit representing the type of the LAN or the type of the protocol, that is for wireless 802.11a, b, g, etc. This is another subtype, uses 4 bits of data, and again these are DS, from DS to DS, more flag retry, power management, more data, and something is for reserve. All these are 1 bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 16. Total 2 plus 2 plus 4, all these you will add, you will get 16 bit. This is all for FC. See the description of this all one by one. Version, current version uses 0, suppose this field. And type, there will be 3 types of this information, either management or for control or for data. This 2 bit, this type is represented using 2 bit. This 2 bit is 0, 0, it means data frame is management. If control frame, type frame, this field is filled by 0, 1, it means that frame was control frame. If this field is filled by 1, 0, it means that data, actual data frame is there. Now all these management, control and data fields are again of 3 types, either RTS or CTS or acknowledgement. All these data, if this field subtype, this field with 1011, it means this is a control frame for management. This is 1100 is also a control frame for, and 1101 is acknowledgement. DS, to DS and from DS is used to define the address. It will be discussed in the later slides. You will see how the four earlier frame. You see this here, total four types of address are present, isn't it? These four types of address are present according to the field, data field in this DS and from DS. All this address 1, 2, 3, 4 is defined. Next was more flag. When this is set to 1, it means more fragmentation. Retry, this is set to 1, it means data have to retransmit. Power management, when this is set to 1, it means station is in power management mode. More data is set to 1, it means station has more data to send. And WEP, wired equivalent privacy, for the encryption implementation for this privacy purpose, and 1 bit last for result. So this is total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Total 11 field present in this FC. 11 fields are present, and it is represented in 16 bit for FC. Rest all we will discuss. See, D means D is basically duration of transmission that is used to set the value NAV. D is the duration for which this channel is going to utilize. This is for NAV, or for another non-participating node that have to transmit, that have to set the timer. And SC is a control frame, sequence control frame, that is defined for sequence number of the frame to be used in flow control. Basically for sequence number. This is very important to understand this 4 address 1, address 2, address 3, address 4 according to the value of DS, from DS and to DS. This will be discussed in the next lecture. I think I should stop here now. We will discuss from here the next class.